This call is now being recorded.
All right, Brent Porcio, TopVelocity.net. Got a pretty cool testimonial today with a guy who's been around for a while in the programs. Kind of excited for this testimony. We probably should have done it a year ago. But Vinnie stayed in touch, so we're going to do it today. And this is Vinnie. I'm going to just kill your last name. How would I say it? I know it's Italian.
Garuccio.
Garuccio. Okay, we got Vinnie Garuccio. And Vinnie, I mean, it's been a while, man. I mean, we were talking about this. We're going to try to cram your whole story into maybe 15, 20 minutes, which is going to be challenging. But talk about, why you found me the first time. I mean, it was you and your dad. I'll never forget you and your dad coming down to camp. That was actually before I had the new building.
Oh, really?
Tell the story about why you found me, what we were looking for, what was kind of going on in your career at the time.
All right. Well, I think I was a senior in high school back then, and I was always like a decent pitcher, just hitting spots and everything like that. And I wanted more. I wanted the velocity, because that's what you get. That's how you get noticed. I feel like just getting noticed and stuff like that. But yeah, I found your program one day. I was just going through online. I was looking up velocity programs and what I could do, anything I could do to get better at that and improve on my velocity. So I came across your program, and I bought it. I bought it back in the fall of my senior year of high school, and then I had decided to come down and to a camp with you guys and work out with you and see what it's all about.
Yeah, and you came down with your dad, and I think that was like a camp where I think you were probably
it was lucky.
Weren't you the only one?
Yeah, I was really lucky.
Yeah. It's just funny. Here's the irony of that. I just did a camp today, one guy, and I rarely get these. It's normally like at least 4 to 6 guys. I swear I've probably done 2 camps of one guy, and one was today, and the one was the time you came. I totally remember that.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I got the one-on-one time and learned a lot.
Well, cool. So at that camp, do you remember how hard you threw at that camp?
I hit 78. I think my vertical was like 26, something like that.
Yeah, I remember that. You had a decent vertical, and you were only throwing 78. And so you basically went through the camp, took you through the entire program, and then you went home. Did you start it right away? What was kind of your progress through the program like?
Yeah, I started it right away as soon as I got back. I think I got back in like January, so like, and the season starts in April. So I did it for I think 2 months. In 8 weeks, I went from 78 to 84.
In 2 weeks?
No, I mean 2 months. My bad. 2 months.
2 months. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then was that when you had the setback? Because I know those listening are going to learn about. Unfortunately, you're fairly prone to injury, but you've survived. You're a definite survivor through all this. Was that the first setback? I mean, kind of tell them how all that came about too.
Yeah, first setback. So we were getting ready to get down the season, and I ended up actually getting hit with the line drive in my pitching elbow. So that was nice. So I was out. I had to sit out for 2 weeks. Thank God it didn't hit my bone though, so it was only out for like 2 weeks. But as I came back, I went on the mound the first game. I came back, and I ended up like doing pretty good. And then I went home. Next day, iced it. Next day came to throw, and I was having like some serious pain in my shoulder. And it was really weird. I never experienced that before. So, yeah. After that, I had to go see the doctor. I rested it and stuff like that. But I think. I kind of like battled through the season of my senior year, but I was always in pain, and I couldn't like play my potential at all. I was just in pain. So after that, I went to the doctor. That whole season, I went to the doctor in the summer, and they were trying to tell me that I might need like surgery. So I got the MRI, made sure everything was fine, but everything came back fine.
Well, I remember that. You were calling me. Your dad was calling me. Wasn't it like I thought it was a labrum tear. What was it, the labrum tear?
Yeah. They said there was some fraying in the labrum.
Yeah. And I think I advised your dad to just see what you could do as far as rehabilitation-wise.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you did tell me that, and then I went through like the whole summer, tried to like battle through that. I went to physical therapy, some physical therapy guys around locally, did what they told me to do, and then I went into the college my first semester into the fall. I told my coach I was still having the pain, couldn't do anything about it. So I even emailed you again, and I asked you like about they recommended surgery again. So I was like, I'm pretty sure I emailed you again, and you told me you actually recommended a doctor for me, Dr. McKenzie.
Yeah, McKenzie.
Yeah,
How was Dr. McKenzie?
He's good.
He's a nice guy, huh?
Yeah, he is. I actually went all the way to Philly to see him about my shoulder.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I saw him. He gave me some tubing exercises and stuff to do, they were very different than like the average like normal tubing like physical therapist that
Right.
gave me. So it was pretty cool. And I did his program, his like arm rehabilitation program. I did that, and it started to feel better. So after like 2 months of that, I did that, and I rested it, and I got it back to normal after that.
You didn't have to have the surgery?
No, I avoided that, which was awesome.
That's awesome. I think a lot of guys can learn that they're so quick to diagnose labrum tears. I think, and I bet you majority of baseball players have slight, labrum tears. I think we can see in these MRIs you can see them so much better. But I don't know how necessary they are. I think you're an example that good chance it might not be necessary now.
Exactly. So that actually brought me like to a whole new picture of like really taking care of my arm, because I realized the doctor told me, he's like, listen, you're a guy that's going to have to seriously keep up with your arm care. That's what he was telling me. He said, I don't know what it is, but you have that small impingement, and it's just so tight when you're right to your cuff. When you throw, when it comes through the bone, it just keeps rubbing.
Yeah, you don't have much acromial space in your shoulder. I didn't either.
Yeah. So I had to just
So then what
on
happened?
that.
Then you came back. When did you get back on the training again?
When I got back onto the training was actually after all that, I was going into my sophomore year. So after that, that's when I started kind of getting back on the training.
Okay.
Sophomore year in the college,
last
year.
What was your experience with it at that point?
At that point, I was just kind of up and down with it. I wasn't really keeping. I think the whole reason I wasn't really keeping up with it is because my pitching, like my team, has their own listing thing too, and I didn't.
Right.
I did that a lot too. So I wasn't really fully in there. I was still trying to keep up with the Olympic lift and the agility and the mechanics drills as much as I could, but I never really got to fully unlock like my true potential with the program. When I really decided to, like last summer is when I really decided to really give it a full program again, pick it back up.
And then talk about what happened.
Last summer I just really stuck with that. I started up in, I think I started in, when did I start it? End of May, I think I started that back up. And I think what really helped get back to where I was doing the mechanics drills. The 3X mechanics drills with the med balls and the throwing.
Right.
Also the Olympic lift. I love the Olympic lifts. I'm big on those.
So this second or third time around, you really started to have big progress with it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I noticed like when I was just playing catch and everything and stuff like that, do the drills was just coming out of my hand a lot harder. So then I actually towards the end of the summer. Yeah, towards the end of the summer is when I decided to finally put myself on a radar gun.
And then you got to 90, right?
I hit 91. Yeah. It was like consistently
91?
throwing. Yeah, I was consistently throwing 87, 88, 89, and then I decided to throw it as hard as I could and topped out at 91.
That's great, man. What do you know? What your your vertical jump or any of your maxes had gotten to?
Oh yeah. My vertical jump went from I think 26 or something like that. I got 33. 33 inches on the vertical.
Damn, hit 33.
Yeah, I know.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then my Olympic lift, think the power clean, I started out at like 135, and I got 235. Why is that's what I maxed out at?
That's great, man.
Yeah.
That's great. And how big are you?
6 foot 190.
Nice. So you're close to that 1.3. That's awesome,
Yeah.
man. Or you actually
Yeah, I would love
are.
Yeah, I would love to keep progressing in that, because I am a huge believer in how the Olympic lifts just make you so much of a better athlete.
Right. Well, it makes sense, man. That's really awesome. And unfortunately, you've keep having these setbacks. You said, like you're saying just recently, you got another injury on your wrist. And are you set to have surgery or what?
I already had the surgery on it. I actually was just able to start back up lifting back this past December. So I was finally back.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, man, you need to stay away from accidents.
I know.
Keep yourself out of harm's way.
That's unfortunately what's been my downfall. Is just I know I have a lot of bad luck, but I mean, that's one thing. I remember you telling me on email. You said, you know what, Vinnie? You said people like us, it happens. Like sometimes you can't explain things. You just gotta outwork the bad luck.
Exactly.
I just kept sticking with it, man. That's why I want to do this interview. You could tell people like in this program, like, sometimes you can't control things, and I just want to tell everyone, like, when you want something as bad as I want, I'm sure a lot of these guys in this program do too, you don't give up, and that's why I just kept pushing. No matter how many injuries I had to keep picking up with the program. I would do 4 weeks, and I got injured, but I never stopped. It took me 3 years, but I never stopped.
That's great, man. Yeah, like I said, you're an old testimonial that we're doing today, but that's great, man. I'm glad to get your story out. And I think it's a testament to perseverance and
oh yeah, definitely.
It's a testament to commitment and believing and making it happen. And I mean, what would you the last thing I always like to do with guys? What was the last thing you could give advice to anyone who's kind of where you were back in high school before you found this program, who really needs kind of that boost or an edge to help them make go to the next level or make that team? What advice would you give them in that place?
So if you want something as bad as you want, I know anything is possible. You just got to work. You got to put in 100% of the work. Just like this program, like everyone says, it wasn't easy. Trust me, I'd be at the gym doing just the mechanics drills sometimes for 4 hours, just filming myself and looking and seeing. I get home and compare it to other major league pitchers and look at your mechanics guide, everything. I was into it 100%. I'd even be in high school in study hall and just reading the books. To just keep working. I would just tell these kids, even just like we were talking about the injuries, just never give up. I know sometimes it can be really frustrating, but there's a lot of times where I just wanted to quit, but I always wanted to hit that goal, and now I got other goals I want to work on too.
Well, that's great, man. Hey, I really appreciate you doing the interview. This is good to finally get this up. I'm going to call you an original. And I think it'd be cool to let your dad hear it. I think your dad's been there the whole way with you.
Yeah, definitely.
Been a big supporter of you.
Both my parents, yeah.
Well, cool, man. I'll end the interview and then stay on the line, okay?
All right, cool. Thanks.